गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Deivathin Kural, the voice of God. Section 1, Chapter 1. Vinayagar, Lord Ganesha. In this chapter, Sri Mahaperiyava has enlightened us about the genesis of Lord Ganesha. The unique distinguishing feature of Tamil Nadu is that wherever we go, there is a Pillayar, Lord Ganesha temple. Each and every street will have a Pillayar temple. Every river bank will have a Pillayar temple. And under the shade of every prominent tree, there will be a Pillayar. Most of these temples will not even have the formal structure of a temple, a vimana or a gopuram, or even a sanctum sanctorum. One can often see Lord Ganesha blissfully sitting under a sacred peepal tree. We in Tamil Nadu call him Pillayar. Ganesha is the eldest son of Lord Parameshwara and Goddess Parvati, the father and mother of the whole universe. The Tamil synonym for son is Pillai. Therefore, he being the first Pillai, son of the universal father and mother, he is addressed respectfully as Pillayar. The suffix R is in Tamil signifies the tone of respect to the addressee. We call Lord Subramanya, the second son of the universal parents, as Kumaran and not as Kumaranar. The respect is meant only to the eldest son Ganesha, who is respectfully adored as Pillayar. Though Lord Ganesha may look like a child god, he is the one existent even before the cosmos. Pranavam, the symbol of Om, denotes the supreme being or the Brahman. The entire cosmos and all other living beings emerged only from the Pranavam. Pillayar embodies the Pranavam. If you look at his elephant face and the curved trunk, you can decipher the image of the Pranavam. Pillayar is the personification of benevolence and compassion. The story of Avayar will substantiate this fact. Avayar is an ardent devotee of Pillayar who authored the Vinayagar Agaval. One who recites Vinayagar Agaval is blessed to attain enlightenment and wisdom. There is a story on Avayar. Sundaramurthy Swami, along with Cheraman Perumal Nayanar, started journeying to Kailasha, abode of Lord Shiva. They wanted Avayar also to accompany them to Kailasha. At that moment, Avayar was performing puja to Pillayar. They hurried her up to join them to Kailasha. But Avayar made it categorically clear that she would not hasten up her puja to Pillayar and they could leave if they wished to. To her, Vinayagar himself is the personification of Kailash. Therefore, she continued her exhaustive puja with utmost dedication. Seeing this, Sundaramurthy Swami and Cheraman Perumal started their journey to Kailasha. At the end of Avayar's puja, Lord Ganesha appeared before her, lifted her in his trunk, and dropped her in Kailasha in just one sway. Only after she reached did Sundaramurthy and Cheraman Perumal arrive at Kailash. This amply makes evident that Lord Ganesha is the one who possesses the dexterity to perform an incredible task effortlessly. Chapter 2, The Embodiment of Life's Philosophies. Breaking the coconut into several pieces at the entrance of the Ganesha temple is quite unique to Tamil Nadu alone. So, Mahaperiva strikingly highlights this concept as also the philosophies of life, which manifest from the physique of Lord Ganesha. Why do we break coconut for Lord Ganesha? Lord Ganesha once told his father, Lord Shiva, "Give your own head as a sacrifice to me." This means that Lord Ganesha feels happy and contented only with the best offering and most superior substances. Only to symbolize that philosophy has God created the coconut with three eyes. The coconut thus represents Lord Shiva. Hence, people break the coconut as an offering to Lord Ganesha to fulfill his desire. Here arises a question: who are entitled to take the coconut pieces as prasadam? To succinctly bring out the answer, Sri Mahaperiva reveals an event. In 1941, I was in Nagapatnam following the Chaturmasya Viradam. There, many people used to break coconuts at the entrance of the Ganesha temple. There would be a lot of children around. Before any person could break the coconut, these children would run to the entrance of the temple in bunches from different directions and assemble there. The day I arrived in Nagapatnam, the children started running fast in groups towards the temple's entrance. People who came along with me got quite nervous that the children would tumble onto me in their rush. So they shouted at the children to move away. At that time, one young boy categorically responded, saying, "You are breaking the coconut for Lord Ganesha. What rights do you have to prevent us from coming here? Who do you think has the right to pick up the broken pieces of the coconut? It is only we, the children, who are entitled to take the broken coconut pieces. So we will definitely be here to collect the pieces." Hearing the firm and unyielding words of the boy, I myself realized, yes, it is quite true that it is the children who are the most entitled ones to have the prasadam of the child god. Mahaperiyava goes on to explain the philosophies manifesting from the physique of Lord Ganesha. The outer cover of the coconut is very firm and sturdy, representing egotism and self centeredness of an individual's self. Once the sturdy outer cover is broken, there is the nectar like coconut water inside the coconut. This symbolizes that if one renounces his egotism and arrogance, the pleasant nature of the individual will be exposed. There is no one else who could be more plump and bigger in physique than Lord Ganesha. He is called Stulakayar, reflecting his bulky body structure. He looks like a mountain, but still he's a little cute child. What attributes to the beauty of a child? While being a child should eat sumptuous food, unlike aging adults, and look plump. This ideology is demonstrated by Pilayar holding a modakam, a sweet covered with rice flour, in his hand. All other gods use a bullock, a horse, or a bird as their vehicle. But for Lord Ganesha, contrary to his huge size, the mouse, which is too tiny, is his vehicle. The esteem of the god does not depend on the vehicle he owns. On the contrary, the esteem of the vehicle is enhanced by the presence of the god seated on it. But to treat his tiny vehicle with compassion and respect, Lord Ganesha makes his body very light, as that of plywood. This symbolizes that even though Lord Ganesha is bulky in physique, he would be gracefully occupying the hearts of devotees without making their hearts heavy. Every animal has its own unique, distinctive, and precious body characteristics. For example, there is a kind of deer which has its speciality in its tail. For a peacock, its feathers are a marvel, and the peacock preserves its feathers with care. What would an elephant preserve in its body? It would sharpen its tusks and keep it white and bright. But what this elephant god did was that he broke one of his tusks and wrote the epic Mahabharata with the same tusk. Thus, the elephant god demonstrates that though the esteem, beauty, and ego lies in its attractive tusks, above all, establishing the dharma is the most imperative aspect. God does not need any instrument to carry out any action. There is also an example that he will use anything as an instrument if he wants to. Once he killed a demon with his tusk. At that time, the tusk was used as a weapon, but while writing Mahabharata, the same tusk turned into a pen. We never get tired of looking at certain things on earth, such as moon, sea, elephant, etc. Every time we look at them, we get enormous happiness. That's how this child god, in the form of an elephant, brings in immense joy in the eyes of the devotees who look at him. This is the philosophy of bliss and happiness, the philosophy of insatiable, unquenchable devotional desires. Lord Ganesha himself was born out of the state of ecstasy when demon Bandasuran prevented warriors of goddess Parvati from moving forward by chanting mantras that induced obstacles. Lord Parameshwara gave a romantic look at goddess Parvati. Right at that time, Parvati gave birth to this child Ganesha. Ganesha demolished the obstacles created by Bandasuran and aided his mother in winning the war with the demon. We do Topukarnam, an act of holding both the ears cross-handed and bending down in front of Pilayar. Here is a story that it is Lord Mahavishnu who taught all of us to do the act of Topukarnam. Once Mahavishnu's nephew, Lord Ganesha, playfully snatched the chakra from Mahavishnu's hands and put it into his mouth. It is difficult to snatch back the chakra from Pilayar, who's very powerful and strong, and threatening him to give back the chakra would not work. Mahavishnu planned a trick. If he could make Ganesha laugh profoundly, his mouth would automatically open and the chakra would come out. And he would pick the same. With this plan, Mahavishnu danced by cross holding his ears with his four hands. Seeing this, Ganesha rolled on the floor with loud laughter. Thus, the chakra fell down from his mouth, and Mahavishnu immediately picked it up. Whichever god one wants to worship, before taking up a task, he should first and foremost worship Lord Ganesha and get his blessings. Only then can the task undertaken by the person be accomplished without any obstacle. There is also Ganapatyam, the religion which worships Lord Ganesha as the most supreme and paramount god.